Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, let's see. Today's October 18th, 2013. This is a Tennessee Fish and Wildlife Commission meeting. My name's Jeff McMillan. I'm the chairman, and welcome to our meeting. At this time, we're going to start off by having Commissioner Harold Cannon do our invocation, please. Thank you, Commissioner Cannon. At this time, I'd like to ask Ms. Barber to do a roll call, please.
Jim Bledsoe. Harold Cannon. Here. Bill Cox. Here. Jeff Griggs. Here. Jeff McMillan. Here. Tom Rice. Jim Ripley. Here. Julie Schuster. Here. Clayton Stout. James Stroud. Here. Trey Teague. Here. Jamie Woodson. Here. David Watson. We have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Has the commission had a chance to look over the September minutes from the previous meeting? Any questions about them? Do I have a motion to approve them?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have approval of the minutes then. Are there any announcements from the commission before we get started, or Director Carter?
No, sir, other than I think you have a special guest here that I think you should recognize.
Well, I think we have several special guests, and we will do that. We have the privilege today of having Representative Tony Shipley and Representative Mike Carter with us today, and we appreciate your attendance. Thank you very much. Appreciate what y'all do for this agency and the commission. We also have an former commissioner, chairman, Judge Brown, if he'd stand up. Or are you standing up? No, please, okay. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. And if I seem a little flustered today, we have a special guest that anytime I'm around her, I get nervous, but I promised when I got up this morning that I put all my loops and my belts and I had on clean underwear. My mother's here, so she always told me you never know when you're going to be in a car wreck, so you had to be sure that you were clean, and so I made sure everything's good today, Mom, so appreciate you coming. So yeah, I can relax now. Probably not, but so a little flustered, but we'll move on. We're going to start today. We have several presentations for people within the agency and private citizens that we want to recognize, and I'm going to ask John Gregory to do the first one, please.
Thank you, Chairman McMillan and the Commission. It's with great pleasure, and I will ask the people that have come from JTEC to step up, if you don't mind. Priscilla Maynard and Keith Johnson are here from the JTEC Corporation. It's an automotive parts company, and we got a call, I guess it's probably getting close to 2 years maybe ago, from Miss Maynard, and said that their company is very environmentally trying to be neutral, and they do recycling, and they came to us offering some assistance in some of our programs with their recycling proceeds. And we've formed a pretty good relationship. We've done 3 projects with them. The first one was some fish habitat work out in Cherokee, using some plastic pallets rather than wood so they would last longer in the lake bottom. And we've also done some food plot seed programs with local landowners. And we had an intern that had some travel expenses to do data collection this past summer, and they were gracious enough to approve that project also. And I guess to date, we've received somewhere over $5,000 from JTech helping in those programs. And it's not really, I don't call it a donation, it's a partnership, because we've been talking today about what other projects we can bring to them. They're excited to be working with us, and we're excited to be working with you. And I want to thank you on behalf of the agency. And we got a couple of things to commemorate. The first one here is we put together a certificate specifically kind of for that first project, the fish habitat work, and wanted you to have that and hopefully hang it proudly somewhere at the corporate office or the plant. No, just where you go. And then another item we've put together for you is a print, and just recognizing our partnership and our continued partnership. So we thank you for being here, and look forward to many more things to do. If you have anything to say?
Well, I know just where both of them are going to go. We do appreciate your help. It is a project that, these projects we really enjoy. And we live in this area. I live on Cherokee Lake, and, you know, I see the results of the work that you all do all the time. So we appreciate the work you do. We're going to try to support you as much as we can. So, and we've already done about 3 different projects just during conversation here that we'd like to go along with. So, but thank you very much.
Thank you, John, and we certainly do appreciate the contribution that they've made to the resources here. Being from Northeast Tennessee, and it was a pleasure for me to have this meeting up here. I guess that's one privilege as a chairman. You do get to at least maybe come home to have a meeting, and I've enjoyed it, and I think that the commission sees why I'm, even though Trey thinks I live in Virginia, we do enjoy the Northeast Tennessee mountains and all. And unfortunately, it was raining yesterday, but maybe everybody will have a safe and pretty drive home. We live in a very diverse state. You think across the state of Tennessee, we've got the mountains and bear hunting and fabulous turkey hunting and deer hunting all across the state, and then we have the duck hunting in West Tennessee. And the thing that excites me about Tennessee is the diversity. But not only have a diversity of wildlife, but the diversity of the people. And the thing about being on the commission and getting to meet the great people within the agency, but it's also getting to meet the great people in the public sector that have a passion that the agency and the commission does, and they do so much for our wildlife and so much for the people that enjoy it. So it's a privilege to get to meet people like my wife and I got to spend a few hours with Terry Lewis that does so much for our elk preservation and restoration, I should say. there's just people all across the state that do things that over and beyond. And since we're going to be in Northeast Tennessee, I wanted to recognize people that make contributions in this region. And it was a no-brainer for me for the first person that I want to recognize, and that's Mr. Terry Whitson. And if you want to, Terry, I'd like for you and Officer Strom to come up here while I'm speaking, if you would. Jerry and Terry were high school classmates at Greenville High School, I believe, is it? And I had was fortunate enough that Terry bought a farm next to me on the Holston River in Sirgoinsville. And when Jerry and Terry kind of got reacclimated in the last few years, Jerry encouraged Terry to maybe start farming his farm for wildlife. Terry is in a tobacco warehouse business, and so obviously when he first came, his property was pretty much tobacco, and it didn't do a whole lot for the wildlife there, but Jerry convinced him to start farming it for wildlife. So in doing so, Terry, who has one of the biggest hearts of any people I've ever met, wanted, through Jerry's advice, having events to help the public. And a few years ago, when Tom Rice started the Davis Rice duck hunts in West Tennessee, the idea was, well, let's have dove hunts in East Tennessee. And through Jerry's expertise and Terry's long, hard labor of working these fields, and they used his property in mind, this past the last couple of years, he's had the Davis P. Rice dove hunts. And Jerry always makes sure through the Tennessee Wildlife Federation, the Scholastic Clays, it's kids that have gone through hunter safety, and the one stipulation is they've never gotten to hunt. And so we had 45 kids on Terry's property for their first hunt. They shot a little over 300 birds, and I think it was 250 cases. No, how many cases of shells? Yeah, so it was a lot of fun to sit there on in the lawn chair and watch these kids shoot and see a dove as it came in the field. And it usually didn't leave the field, but sometimes it took quite a few shots to bring it down. So, but he had 45 kids, and usually had one or both parents, and his wife Krista, I know, cooked over 300 or 400 hot dogs, and they feed them and do that. And this is the second year. Well, then the very next week, the foundation benefited from Terry's generosity by having an adult fundraiser hunt, and they raised, I'm not sure, $8,000 or $9,000 for the foundation. So, you know, when you have people in the public like Terry that encompass all of the agencies that the wildlife resources benefit from, it's a great thing, and his generosity is amazing. He's never duck hunted, but yet he used our private land biologist to develop 2 impoundments that he can control the water level, and they can do a hot crop. And this year he's plans on doing a youth duck hunt and a Wounded Warriors duck hunt. So, you know, people like Jerry and Terry are the people that I admire the most, because, you know, they're doing this out of the goodness of their heart, and they're promoting hunting and fishing in our communities, and in the long run, especially with the youth, that's going to be the future of our agency and of our wildlife. And we certainly appreciate it, and I'm glad I get to be your friend, and I'm glad I get to honor you in front of the commission and this agency. So we have a plaque, and let's see, it's this one. And this plaque, we're going to redo it because I've just looked at it for the first time, and it's not correct. So I'm going to read what it says, but I'm going to get it corrected, and I will have it to you. But there is a misspelling on it that's Mr. Cox. I'm from East Tennessee. I can't spell, but apparently you can from West Tennessee. But it is incorrect, so I'm not going to give it to you today, but we'll have it redone if that's okay. It has Whitten instead of Whitson, so it's just an oversight. So I apologize. I'll take credit for that. But it says the Whitsons have generously made their property available for hunting opportunities for youth, wounded warriors, and others who otherwise will not be able to enjoy a quality hunting experience. Terry and Chris are great examples of landowners willing to partner with TWRA in implementing wildlife-friendly farm management practices. Their land is a shining example of how property can be managed productively for wildlife, and we appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jerry. Comment? I just couldn't spell the words doing it, could I? All right, the next person, or a couple that I would like to recognize is, and unfortunately her husband, Jack, and Edith Prater, and Jack got sick today and couldn't come, but can you hold that for me? But Edith came with some of her family, and I'd like for her to come up while I recognize her and Jack, even though he's wasn't able to attend. Jack and Edith live on the South Holston River, just below Hickory Tree Shoals. And I think Bobby and Frank can attest. I lined them up on a fishing trip a couple of days ago. There's probably more trout per mile on the South Holston River than any river in the state. And I'll say that with Chris Nishan not here, but in the Caney, I'll put the South Holston up to the Caney any day. And the thing that's special about Jack and Edith is they live just below the shoals, and for years they have helped promote our river, and they're known throughout the South with their hospitality and their kindness, in that they help people shuttle their cars down. So when you put up at the Weir Dam parking lot and you put in at the ramp there, all you have to do is call Jack and Edith, and they're there to move your car, and the guides in North Carolina, Virginia, all the folks I'm proud that use our river know Edith and Jack, and they use their services. And the neat thing about Jack and Edith is the majority of the income that they've produced from that has been donated to St. Jude. So they are folks that are representative for the state of Tennessee, and what they do for our agency and the reputation it gets, and it brings people from all over the South. And they were even recognized in the Fly Fishing Journal of the Southeast, correct, for their contributions. So I want to, and I'm sad that Jack didn't feel good, but you tell him that we're very pleased with what he's done to contribute for our fisheries, okay? And the plaque that I have for the Praters says, by providing access to the river and shuttle service to accommodate fishermen, Jack and Edith are known throughout the angling community. Without the services they provide, many fishermen would not be able to experience this beautiful river as comfortably as they do. So thank you very much for what y'all do. Thank you. Bobby Wilson to come to present the Biologists and Technicians of the Year awards.
Thank you, Commissioner. Last month, the commission, the agency recognized the Wildlife Biologist of the Year and the Wildlife Technician of the Year. And this being the meeting that we typically have our sport fish regulations passed, we wanted to recognize the Fisheries Technician of the Year and the Fisheries Biologist of the Year. And I want to start with the Fisheries Technician of the Year. And I'm going to read the write-up about this young man. His name is Daryl Byrne. His nickname is Bones. Daryl is a 27-year veteran with the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. He served as a Fisheries Technician 2 and as a creel clerk on the Region 2 Southern Reservoirs. His current role is Fisheries Technician 2 with the South Stream crew. At the winter trout stocking events, Daryl readily interacts with the public in a friendly, courteous manner. He responds to anglers' questions and concerns in a positive fashion, and over the years has developed a rapport with many of the regular anglers. Daryl's familiarity with current computer, GPS, and photographic technology continues to be an asset to his work unit. This expertise has led to a streamlining of data storage, transfer, and presentation. Darrell routinely volunteers to assist other agency and non-agency personnel. In 2013, he conducted stream sampling demonstrations for the Tennessee Outdoor Youth Summit, commonly called TOYS, the program in Montgomery County, and for the Duck River Fest in Bedford County. Through these two programs, over 700 students were exposed to stream ecology and fish identification. He regularly assists as an instructor with the Region 2 Hunter Education Program. In 2013, he assisted with 9 hunter education classes and was lead instructor for 2 courses. Darrell taught the hunter education instructors how to use the new computer program, which is called Event Manager, which is now used to register students for hunter education courses. Currently, a creel survey is being conducted on the Elk River tailwater. Darrell volunteered to accompany the other 2 creel clerks during their initial outings to instruct them on proper techniques, which includes interviews, counts, and data recording. Furthermore, Darrell has assumed a leadership role by acting as creel schedule coordinator, ensuring that all scheduled vacation days by any of the creel clerks is covered by another clerk. Darrell has continued to display a positive attitude and willingly works additional days to ensure that all scheduled rivers and streams will be sampled in 2013. Recently, Darrell volunteered to assist TWA Region 3's stream crew with their brook trout project. Working with Travis Scott, Fisheries, now hatchery manager at Tellico Hatchery, Darrell mounted and sectioned all of the brook trout otoliths for age and growth analysis. By sharing his knowledge of the preparation of otoliths, Darrell has enabled Travis to complete his future age and growth projects in a timely fashion. After attending an electrofishing course in Lawrence, Kansas, Darrell took it upon himself to learn to troubleshoot and repair the outboard jet drives used in rivers and stream sampling. His initiative has saved the agency much time and money in the repair and servicing of this equipment. Darrell continues to be a superior employee with willingness to work additional hours and assist others, which reflects positively on the Region 2 South Rivers and Streams program and agency as a whole. His interpersonal skills, work ethic, and his ability to learn and incorporate new ideas and technologies are all attributes which makes him an important and valued member of the program. So Darrell, if you'll come up here, we'll give you your award. Also, let me make one other comment. Darrell is down at Talladega, and he drove all the way up here for this award, and when this is over, he's going to drive all the way back. So I really appreciate him coming all the way up here for this. Here's a box, and here's the write-up.
Drive safe. 8 hours.
Now for the second award. The second award goes to Mike Smith. His nickname is Stump. And by the way, you have to have a nickname to get a Fisheries Award. Mike is a native of Sullivan County here in Kingsport. He graduated from Dobbins-Bennett High School in 1970. He went on to pursue a degree in wildlife management at Tennessee Tech University, where he graduated with a BS degree in 1974. In 1976, Mike completed his master's degree in biology at Tennessee Tech. That same year, Mike began his professional career with TWA as an assistant biologist under the CETA program, then moved into a Reservoir Manager 1 position within the region. In 1977, he took a position as a Hancock County wildlife officer. Shortly after this assignment, he transferred to Claiborne County as an officer and remained in that position until 1981, when he took over as a hatchery manager at Eagle Bend. Over the past 37 years, Mike has been a dedicated employee in his service to the agency and to the citizens of Tennessee. His management of the hatchery has been exemplary, even during personnel shortages, when he was able to continue propagation and the delivery of fish to the public without interruption. During his tenure at the hatchery, Mike developed fish culture techniques participated in many fisheries research projects, and has been an educator to numerous students and professionals. He has led the development of hatchery facilities, including the recent expansion of rearing ponds. His knowledge of fish culture and fisheries dynamics is a valuable asset to the agency, and his expertise is often sought from other managers and biologists throughout the state and throughout the Southeast. He has fostered numerous fish trades throughout the years with other states, allowing the agency to develop and enhance recreational fisheries. Through these and all the other routine activities associated with the operation of the hatchery, Mike has always done his best to manage the hatchery and produce a quality product for the public to enjoy. His willingness to help other work units has been unwavering over the years by assisting reservoir, streams, and wildlife programs with various projects within the region. He is a very dedicated, conscientious employee who gives his very best every day to ensure that the operations and the team he supervises are managed in a professional manner. So, Mike.
I think his height is just fine. That's it.
Mike.
Thank you, Bob.
Congratulations, Bob.
Congratulations to both of the recipients, and thank you, Bobby Wilson, for presenting those. It's amazing to me the quality of people that we have with this agency, and it's awesome to be recognized. I apologize earlier, I didn't comment that we do have a pad going around that we'd like for everybody to sign that are guests, so we know who's come, and you're certainly welcome to address the commission at any time if you just come to the mic, and we welcome any input. So this time we'll move on to the Fisheries Management Committee. Commissioner Bill Cox, please.
I don't know why you sat down.
Well, I don't have a copy of the agenda, so I didn't realize I was next. Yesterday, Commission, I presented to you Proclamation 1313, the sport fish regulation changes. And if there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer them over the proposed regulation changes from yesterday.
Mr. Chairman, Fisheries Committee recommend and I move approval of Proclamation 1313.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? None on the commission, the audience? Yes.
My apologies. Would you mind, Bobby, to just kind of walk through very briefly, so for those folks who might watch the formal meeting, that they're aware of the changes, if you would want to go through the specific changes.
Do you want me to
I don't
each
have any
change?
specific questions, but I think that any specific areas that you think might be worth mentioning that would be of note, I think that would be very
Okay,
helpful.
I'll try to remember all of them. I'm not sure if I'll be able to without a PowerPoint presentation or something in front of me. But in Region 1, we're recommending reducing the crappie length limit on Maples and Browns Creek lakes from 10 inches to 8 inches. We're also recommending to increase the length limit on Sauger in Kentucky Reservoir, particularly below Pickwick Dam, from 14 to 15 inches. And that's because of poor recruitment years over the past 5 or 6 years. And we're also protecting about twice as many females by going from 14 to 15. And in addition, the 15 inch is what the statewide regulation is for Sauger. In Region 2, minor change, we're recommended to do away with the length limit on largemouth bass in Woodhaven Lake, which is in Montgomery Bell State Park. There's currently there's no harvest allowed at that lake, and we're going to open that up with a statewide regulation, which is no length limit, but a creel limit of 5 per person per day. In Region 3, recommended for the Caney Fork River watershed, which includes the Caney Fork, the Collins, the Calfkiller, and the Rocky rivers that go into the Great Falls Reservoir, and includes the Great Falls Reservoir and the Center Hill Reservoir. A 50-inch length limit for muskie It's a 36-inch length limit right now. The 50-inch will protect more females that spawn, and we're counting on the natural reproduction of the muskie to keep the population going with the muskie in those river watersheds. Also in Region 3, we're adding to the Polk County streams. There are some special regulations in place that only allow people well, they can fish every day but Friday from March 1 to July 1, and they can only use single hook only, I believe. And we're going to add another creek to that called Greasy Creek, and in addition, we're going to reduce the time back from March 1 to July 1 to March 1 to June 1. And Fridays are the day that we stock trout in those particular streams. In Region 4, we're going to, I believe it's let's see, help me out here, Fort Loudon, Melton Hill, and Chilhowie, the walleye and sauger. What's Calderwood? Okay. I'm going to try without it. We're going to, currently there's a regulation there that's a 15-inch length limit, a combination of 10 for both walleye and sauger, and we want to put that back within the statewide regulation for walleye and statewide regulation for sauger, which for walleye is 16 inches and a creel limit of 5 per person per day. Sauger is a 15-inch length limit with a creel limit of 10 per day. And then we're going to change we're going to re-identify the boundary for Rocky Fork. So that's all of I think it's, oh, good, thank you. Paddlefish, I should have got that. The paddlefish at upper end of Cherokee Reservoir, the season currently is March 1 to March 15th, and we're going to change that from March 1 to March 15th to April 1 to April 15th due to a change in the John Sevier plant where they do not have a warm water discharge anymore. It doesn't attract the paddlefish up there earlier in the year. So those are all the regional recommendations. And on a statewide regulation, we're going to recommend to specify in the proclamation that, and we actually made a new section in the proclamation that will allow the consumption of crawfish that are caught under certain restrictions. You can't catch the ones that are endangered or threatened, and there are certain creeks and rivers and areas where you're not allowed to move them or take them from. And we also liberalize the methods for catching and collecting crawfish as well. I think that's all for the statewide, for all the sport fish regulations.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman, I'd like to commend Bobby Wilson, who was caught without notes and did a remarkable
I saw,
there.
he has it written on the back of his hand, I saw.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he can act like he
I've
remembered
gone-
all that, but he didn't.
I've gone on it enough times in my head, I should remember that.
No, I appreciate that. Is there any other discussion or questions from the commission? I guess we're ready to vote then. For all those in favor of passing proclamation 13-13 sports fish regulations, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, the proclamation passes. Chairman Cox, can we move on to the live bait proclamation, please?
Yes.
I believe did you cover that?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But we also proposed changes to the live bait proclamation, which is proclamation 1315. And I'll go over that briefly. It's just, when we were doing looking over the changes to be made for crawfish for consumption, we realized that we need to make some changes in the live bait proclamation too, especially as it relates to crawfish and the collection methods. So we liberalized some of the collection, well, all the collection methods for catching crawfish. You can use pretty much everything but electrofishing, chemicals, and I believe explosives to collect crawfish. And we also, in the live bait proclamation, you were allowed to catch and use for a bait the dusky salamander, and identifies in the current proclamation the scientific names, but does not list the common names for the dusky salamanders. You can't catch them for sale, but you can catch them for use if you're going to go fishing with them. And I believe it's the dusky, the northern dusky, and the spotted dusky. There are 7 dusky salamanders in the state, but this specifies those 2. And there are some other minor housekeeping changes along there too in the live bait proclamation that we made as well.
Okay, thank you, Bobby. Is there any discussion from the commission? The audience? All right, we have a motion to approve proclamation 1315 for the live bait regulations. Do I have a second? Second. Okay. I'm sorry, Bill, I kind of cut you out there. Did you? All right, my fault. Well, I appreciate that, but, all right, well, the committee voted yesterday to approve, and so we have a second. So we're ready to vote. All those in favor of passing proclamation 1315 live bait regulations, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, the proclamation 1350 live bait passes. Thank you. Thank you, Bobby.